Alright, hey everybody, Jared Napolitano here, JNap. I'm here for episode 5 of my stream series, That Time I. This is going to be a real fun game. This is a match from about a year and a half ago, and the main reason, again, as I'll try to provide context here, as I've done in the past, but first off, thanks to everyone for watching the last episode, which got a lot of viewers. Apparently people like seeing Death Stars blown up and seeing the Rebels succeed and the Empire go down. So maybe it was just that I put it on Facebook, which I'll do with this one too, but we have almost 3,000 people in the Facebook group, so maybe I'll do that from now on, especially if people find this stuff interesting, and this one is definitely interesting because it's very thematic with the Battle of Hoth. So we're going to be jumping into The Empire Strikes Back here. So again, some context here. This is another, so this is episode 5, and it's going to be the third of the 5 that's against a European player. So it just seems like I have some really interesting matches against the Euros. This is against Paul McPherson, who's English. And again, so some context. This game's from August 1st or 2nd of 2019. It was actually the final month of the online championship series for 2019. So month 7. So it was a competitive game, unlike the last one, which was like a Hollow Theater deck building challenge. This one was like, I'm trying to win this. I ended up finishing, I think, 5th out of the at-large standings for 2019. So I think over the course of the year, if I had maybe 3, maybe 4 more wins, I would have qualified. But that was the fun year where Bat Mouse, Google, and Mike Pistone were all tied, and it came down to strength of schedules, and I think Pistone just missed out. It was really close. So point being is, this was a competitive event. I'm trying to win. At the time, EBO was decently popular. I adapted this Hoth CRV Walkers, or Combat Readiness Virtual, if you're not familiar with the acronym, to actually be able to blow up the main power generators, which in my estimation is maybe about 4 or 5 different cards than a standard big blue Hoth CRV deck. So we'll see those cards. We'll get into this. This is really exciting. Obviously, spoiler, I do blow up the main power generators and I win the game, but there's a lot of fun interactions here. And again, I'll just give one more plug, because I did see on the Facebook string with the plug of the new Advanced Rule Booklet. Or not, it's definitely not a booklet. Advanced Rulebook 327. Some people were asking questions about the Hoth Energy Shield rules, so we'll see them in this game in full force, and we'll see the impact of epic events and stuff getting blown away. So again, purpose, entertain, maybe some pointers for new returning players, and maybe we find some bugs with the new interface, the Unity client here that is getting close, I think. I don't know everything, but it's coming. We'll put it that way. We'll get started here. So I have it loaded up. Hopefully everyone can hear and see the video okay. I'll hit play. So, and one other fun aspect of this is actually me and Paul were 2 people who went 11-1 in February. So that was the next competitive OCS month after this. It was across seasons. But I just made the cut in February of 2020. And Paul went 11-1, and he just missed out on, I think, a percentage or 2 of strength of schedule. So Paul's a good player, and I know he's been very good with this EBO deck. I'm not positive this is the exact one that Eric Hunter and him worked together on, or Eric gave him some pointers on, but I call this kind of the Eric EBO because it doesn't have speeders, and most EBO decks do have speeders. Like Johnny Chu played one coming up 2 years ago at Endor Grand Prix. I know Goblin played EBO a good amount. But now I'll start, and I'll do a quick plug here, because I know there might be some people who watch this who aren't as well-versed with virtual cards. But I do see a lot of times on the Facebook group of, hey, I want to do a thematic deck, but hey, I don't like virtual cards. And what I'll say is, these virtual cards make so many of these old platforms that are kind of just missing something more viable. And one of those is this card, Prepare for a Service Attack. This came out in Virtual Set 9. And it basically makes it a lot easier to shoot your AT cannons. It allows you to upload them. The one trouble with this is that, because it's unique, it doesn't allow you to put non-virtual Prepare for a Service Attack, which is actually a pretty good card. So you can't have them both out, and maybe design knows what they're doing, and if they allowed you to actually put both of these out, or this card on a different title, if they're both out, it can make the deck pretty decently powerful. An EBO too, so this is a virtual main power generator. It's a 2-0. As opposed to a 1-0. The Ice Planes are a nice card in case you draw Walker Garrison, but don't draw the 3rd marker. that leads to a weird loophole with you may start your landing, because you need to take both into hand at the same time, and if you can't, it fails. So basically, in this case, if you draw the garrison, you're not screwed out of not being able to pull the third marker. So you can use ice planes to put Walker Garrison under your reserve deck, and then pull them both. If you just draw the third marker, not a huge deal, because that's the card that you definitely want early, for activation and to get things going. So these virtual cards with this matchup make a lot of fun. I love Hoth. I love Empire Strikes Back. This was a really thematic matchup. So here in my hand and some card choices. And again, I want to try to keep these not too long, 45 minutes at most, hopefully closer to 30. But I use the OG Mara, not EPP Mara, because she's a pilot, and it helps having high ability pilots for the AT-ATs to help making blowing up the main power generators a little easier. So she's an ability 5 pilot. Also her spy, which the EPP Mara virtual is not. I got a lot of big blue in here, Star Destroyers, AT-ATs. The Electro Rangefinder is one of, I would say, like the 4 cards that need to go in to make this a viable way to blow up the main power generators. This adds, this isn't even necessary. It adds 1 and it allows you to fire from 2 sites away. So it's helpful. It's not necessary, and it's a 6, and it's pullable by this Prepare for Service attack, which we just talked about. You can pull a Hoth device or Hoth epic event. So main point, the virtual cards help this matchup become a lot more fun and interesting. Death Squadron Assignment is also a neat virtual card. It allows you to pull certain walkers. It can pull Admiral Ozzel. It can pull several Star Destroyers, part of the Death Squadron. It also allows you to pull Prepare for Service attack if you're floating that as well. So that's an option because this has Death Squadron in its lore, which is what Death Squadron Assignment Virtual does. So we're going to get started here. I allowed him to convert my system. I should be better known with this. I know there's a lot of mechanics of, do you allow them to replace? If not, you have to choose different starting locations. I think the point that you land on is if as a dark side player, you let them convert, because it's worse if you don't. So I have a couple docking bays. I guess I float Imperial Rest Order here. And in this matchup, that's one of the things I always find with Hoth CRV, Hoth SSA, is that there's so many good effects you want to start. And sometimes you have to choose if the deck if there was some starting interrupt that allowed you to start 4 starting effects with something with a tie-in with walkers, that'd be great. But I guess if I didn't see EBO, I'd probably just start Rest Order and pull these docking bays. But I drew them, so I don't want to put the third marker out too soon here. I don't want it to become a liability. Because of the interaction. Again, this is all in the rule book. He didn't put his 4th marker out, so there's no battleground site on the table. But the shield will not extend past, once he deploys the 4th marker, I think the old rules would say the shield goes all the way up to the 5th marker regardless, but the new rules say, hey, it goes to the 4th, and or people can deploy to the 4th, put it that way. So pretty slow first cycle. I guess that was just my first turn. Just getting some activation out, drawing some cards. I do the exchange, and that's a cool thing about this exchange too. If you don't need to do it at the beginning of the game, you can play like an Imperial Command to grab a general first move, and then that's the bottom card of your reserve deck. So then you could do the swap with the Ice Planes to just get it again. And same thing with Death Squadron Assignment, Imperial Command. There's 1 or 2 other interrupts that's helpful with. And then you could just start getting out ships, walkers, anything that you need, generals, admirals. That's a great card. It came out set 9, and you'll see it in Watto decks a lot because they like to use the Watto objective text to get these expensive Star Destroyers to be, go for free ideally if the light side allows you to. So he's going to put his sights out. Obviously, I think I mentioned this in the last stream I did. Once Echo Base Operations, or Hoth CPV, I guess maybe I should say, loses EBO, the deck is the effect is pretty neutered. It can't do much. It's maybe going to pay 3 to drain for 1 in space locations. And then in this game, obviously, there's going to be no battleground sites besides ones that are on Hoth. So he gets these 2 generals out, both virtual, both great cards. I like them both a lot. Riken's General Carlos Riken, he allows T-47s and Rebels to move for free. That includes shuttling, that includes reacting. He's really good and helps the deck just be faster. So you don't have to use all these cards to move people around. Instead, you can use those cards to do other stuff, especially to draw early and fill up your hand. The Don is great. We saw him in the last stream. He adds 1 to Epic Event. Fortunately, he adds just to the light side Epic Event, not to dark side. He pulls a Y-Wing or a related battleground, so now he could pull 4th marker, pretty sure. So that's a good way in this situation where, I don't know, maybe even did that. This I think is still 151 version. 152 just came out. I don't think the changes will be significant compared to for the purposes of this replay game. So Paul plays the Yoda Stew combo, which is a pretty cool card. I like Yoda Stew in like old school formats because it helps you, get the cards out of your hand that you don't need. Maybe it protects you from Monarch. In a way, it's activating force by putting cards from your hand on your force pile that you don't need. So I get another virtual card, Marquand in Blizzard 6. This card's great with AT-AT cannons. Cards it hits are power and forfeit -2. This is a huge game text impact later in the game, we'll see. But this is a good card, and because it is strong and it's pullable, it's a Death Squadron. Because it's pullable with Death Squadron assignment virtual, you can only have one pilot. You can't just doom stack passengers or pilots on it. So that's one of the trade-offs. And hey, it does these good things, but hey, you also lose this. So AT-AT cannon goes out from only one force because the effect makes it -1. It's also going to make them fire for free. I open hand the Electro Rangefinder, and this thing's ready to go. And so even if he deploys the 4th ridge, or if I deploy a 3rd marker, I can still fire from 2 sites away, and I can pull target main generator, the epic event during my control phase, and I think I have to deploy it, and then I think I might have to wait till my next control phase. Or maybe it just goes right to the, we'll see. Some of these, cards that I don't use too often, kind of need to remember the phases. But bottom line is I'm setting this up pretty decently to blow this away, make him lose 8 force, and lose EBO. The shield will go away, as we'll see, which will have an impact. And again, so this is the Eric EBO. Maybe Paul built this from scratch, and I apologize if so, but I know he uses Farm Boy Luke in his, as opposed to like Commander Luke. Commander Luke with the speeders makes this matchup a little tougher because the speeders are strong, and Commander Luke Virtual is just a really good card. So he gets EBO down, he gets Radiant 7 to the system, probably has Barrier, but I'm only activating 10. So he doesn't have too much fear, and this will draw 2 Battle Destiny. He doesn't have too much fear of me coming down, knocking him off, canceling Haven, setting him back. He probably has some type of evasion here. So I get my secret plans out. There's a card, I'm pretty sure Walker Sighting V is out at this point. That's a good card that also helps EBO just become more viable and enable it to retrieve some force for each location they control. And it really helps get EBO in better shape. So now it's my turn 3. I'm going to pull, again, with a lot of this stuff, it's cool that you can pull it from reserve deck, but there's also some variance and maybe activate it. So something that I know is a hot topic in the game is we don't want things to be overly auto-pulled or tutored is a term, but at the same time you want things to be viable and you want lines of play. So I do have it in reserve. I'm going to pull it. And let's just pause real quick and hover over this. So during my control phase fire my AT-AT cannon. So I think that means I basically play it during my control phase. But we'll see, because if so, that's going to be the case. And if it misses, it just goes back to my use pile, and then I can pull it the next turn. So it's my control phase now. I'm only 1 site away. I think at this point I need some help, so this needs to add 1. I add 1 for every Hoth site I control. So this is still going, hold on. So he loses 1 to you may start your landing, which is that also makes this deck nice that you're constantly doing this direct damage even though you're not controlling a battleground. So Destiny X plus Y. So X's abilities, so right now I have ability 2 with Ozzel and the permanent pilot. Class site you control is 1, so that's 3. Electro Rangefighter adds 1. So I believe I need a 5 to get above 8, because I'm at 4 now. So this might be, yes, I don't play it. Nope. I did play it. Alright, so but I only drew a 1. Or maybe a 2, whatever it was I missed pretty bad. But I drew Admiral P. So now it goes to my use pile, so I can fish it out next control phase. And also one of the things, again, with line of this, testing, doing this series, finding bugs, doing some kind of obscure stuff like this with epic events, these tend to maybe sometimes make, you're not playing the total mainstream items that might cause some, that might not pop up weird stuff. So I'm going to play Battle Order, so he has to pay 3 for the strain at the system. I got Mara out. I want her piloting the ship. She'll make it a lot easier to be successful with an ability 5. So now I got 5, 6 with the range fighter. If I control a site is 7. So I need to just draw 2. I put out the defensive perimeter, and I think I just must have had a brain fart, not realizing he could put out the 4th marker, which I think he does this turn, which sets me back. Again, I usually try to watch these once, or at least let it run to make sure it doesn't, bug or freeze. So I'll pull Stalker V, which is a great card. This is really popular in the meta right now to allow you to follow ships around. It's really a great way to help Darkside turn off Menace Fades so that Lightside can't cap drains. He is now starting his turn 3. He pulls an Arshada. EBO is also nice too, because this War Room will add +2 in battles at, I believe it's sites or locations. I think this is some cool animation we've seen in the last couple of episodes. But he'll have 1 for the system, because every starship adds 1 to power in battles. This War Room adds 2 for each leader. Power +X in Battle of Hoth location. So basically he's power +3 at every battle. At a site at least. So here comes the 4th marker. So this site actually says, this site does not count when calculating epic events. So if I control that, I'm not getting the bonus to target the main generator, which is something that you would probably never realize unless you see target the main generator. You probably go, whatever, that game text is never going to matter. So now I'm 3 sites away. So now I can't play target the main generator, even with the Electro range fighter. So that, him doing that sets me back a turn. But he's not doing too much damage. He has this drain 3 at the system. I'm just pinging 1 with you may start your landing. So this is actually kind of a, again, we're pretty even up in the air for both of what's going to happen. He plays Rebel Leadership to get Radis. I'm going to pull target the main generator out. You can see I have a lot of Imperials in there and a lot of Bad Destiny, so that's where having some boosts where possible. It was really nice that I drew Imperial Decree last turn too. I think I only drew 1 or 2 cards at the end of last turn, so that's huge. So now I'm going to try to set up on 2 Hoth locations so that this goes down to a 1, and that will buy me time 2 to kind of set up everything. Got another Walker out. So this is looking pretty good. I'm going to use the Mustafar Castle, which is a very popular card in today's meta, and actually if anyone got the Reflections 4 packs, there's a Japanese foil AI version, which is really sweet. And I know I made a joke about how, with these Japanese versions, the tournament rules are you need to have the English version on your person, in case anyone doesn't know what they do, but pretty much everyone knows what Vader's Castle does right now because it is so popular. So I'm going to move Vader to 4th marker, then North Ridge. And now I'm going to prepare to go maximum firepower next turn. Fallen General Veers was involved. I don't think he either comes out later or not at all. So his turn he's going to activate. He plays Control Tunnel Vision to get a key card out that he wants. He has Bright Hope. Now he's going to do what I'll call this is like the EBO vomit, where EBO just at some point, because everything's so cheap, it has so many starships, sometimes a lot of speakers, it's just everything goes on the table, and then it's like boom. All right, now Darkseid has to respond because there's a lot of damage coming their way. But he needs to not allow me to control 2 locations, because if that's the case, he's not going to be able to force through enough damage. And the last episode we talked about win condition. I don't think the win condition in this matchup is going to be draining for 3 drains of 1, while I'm pinging him 1 to 2 a turn with you may start your landing, perhaps a drain here and there, perhaps this 8 force loss, perhaps the fact that EBO puts a lot of cards on the table. He's so he needs to engage. This is the concept. We mentioned it. It's a good forum post as well about who's the control, who's the beatdown, and I think he probably felt that he was in the position of being the beatdown, not the control, and that's why he's doing this. So he's got a whole party now at the 4th marker. A lot of good characters here. So Poe's going to add 1. Dameron's going to add 1, piloting a Snowspeeder with Dash. I actually just read Shadows of the Empire. the beginning of that book, talking about, reread it, I read it like 20 years ago, even more, even before Reflections 2 came out, and realizing a lot of things, especially with respect to Star Wars CCG, that were in that book. But yeah, so Dash is in the Snowspeeder, he's ready to go. Hera adds a Battle Destiny from Rebels with Vader and Mara Imperial, or with 2 Rebels, so like Radis to Don are there. So he's got a force here. And now he's spread out across the 3 systems. He's got battle plane satisfied. He's in good shape right now. So now I need to kind of punch back. I do have a little bit more life force, but I know, at the end of this turn, I'm definitely going to need to turn on Decree. I make sure he doesn't hit me for, a drain of 4 at Norshada, 3 at Hoth, 3 at Mustafar. So I get my 2 drains, or 2 pings in with you may start your landing. There's just so many good light side ships. Sometimes when I play EBO, I'm just like, let me just look at all the ships, and sometimes it's really hard to kind of determine. And Rick's ship is stuck on the screen. Okay, now it's gone. Good. All right, so let me pause it as I was yammering. Let me see if I can scroll up a little bit. So I played targeting power generators. I go max 1 firepower. I draw 2, and that's enough to work because I control 1 site. That's 3, 4 from the electro rangefinder, and 5 from the ability is 9. So that's greater than 8. So main power generator gets blown away. And now he needs to lose 8 force. He already put EBO and a new secret base into his lost pile. The shield is gone. So now this 3rd marker is just like a normal site, as if the shield doesn't exist. Which when I watched the replay at first, we're so ingrained to assume that the shield is up, that I was like, oh, he doesn't have battle plan satisfied like game. It's like, oh wait, yes he does. This is now a battleground. Alright, so he loses 8, loses Lieutenant Tarn, my son, one of my favorite cards. It could be worse. Just a pretty good card for him in this matchup. With Shuffle, the Cancel Barrier, Proton Torpedoes. Yeah, so he's, a ship, green leader and gold 1. Or green leader and green 1, I should say. And now I'm just going to move away and make sure I turn on Decree. So now he's got drains of 1, 1, 1, 1. So it's... I want to make sure so I cancel Solo's text here, I guess, just because I can, even though I'm just going to run away. And now again, so I have drains of 2, or pings of 2 set up with you may start your landing for each site I occupy. I have a force drain of 2 that I'm threatening here, but he's going to probably react. And now he's at 15, I'm at 29. Our hands are about the same. So I'm in good shape now. I just need to not let him force the action. So we'll speed up a little bit here. I grabbed in Rest Order, long overdue, Imperial Barrier, Image of Dark Lord's helpful to limit his drain on the site. Barrier's good too, so I don't have to worry about getting beaten off anywhere. At some point, you guys might notice I have these 3 Star Destroyers in my hand. Against EBO, you don't want to go to space unless you have Gick, or unless you feel pretty good and really safe, or really late game. The last thing you want them is dropping 8 ships on your Star Destroyer, taking overflow and losing the game. So until I really felt I needed to, I did not want to go to space. So this is on 2x. He uses Solo's text to play in from Lost Pile, which is Control Tunnel Vision. I guess he really wants to find a key card. I get a Verify. And now I pull. So now I have 4 Star Destroyers in my hand, 3 of which are Dust Squadron. Conquest is not, but Conquest is so good that it cancels the interrupt by losing the force. So he's going to do his force drains. I toss an Imperial Rest Order, which at this point is not going to do me a ton of good. And he's going to put Projection of Skywalker to cap this drain down to 1. I shouldn't say cap, I should say reduce. And he's going to go now. This is a way more appealing location for him to fight at. So I just have the Walker. And he's going to move a couple of dudes, but leave Hera and Solo at the North Ridge. But still, this doesn't do much. I don't know if the rules question is, can I turn on Decree by just moving here? Maybe power generators are blown away. I'm not positive this counts as it probably should, a rebel base location. So if I just move Vader here, I turn Decree back on. And that's good. So I'm just going to activate. This is my turn 6. Get some more pings through. And just try to whittle him down. He's got a pretty healthy hand here with 12, but only 9 cards down to work with. But I also have, characters that I can put to the ground here. My reserve deck, I have a 1/4/4 in terms of Destiny. Not the greatest, not necessarily stuff I want to fight this force with. That's getting 2 Battle Destiny. a lot of, power boost of 2. He's 15 to my 8. So I don't think I want to fight him here. I don't. So I deploy No Escape, pick up Blizzard 2, a Virtual, which will allow me to pull Tramples from reserve deck. Just another kind of key item that allows me some synergy with walkers and defending the sites. Quick plug, everyone, make sure you tune into Holo Theater tonight. It's going to be 9 p.m. Dan's going to be joined by Scott and CRG. It should be a really, really good episode. Make sure you tune in. I put Colonel Wolf Yularen down. He's virtual. He's a really good card. I think, honestly, I was just talking to this with my teammates the other day. I think blanking him would make ISB way more tolerable. He is so strong. And then you just deploy and you activate. He prevents like power pivot. He's just an excellent card. I think him, Hull Tridum, Callus, and Tarkin V. Those 4 virtual ISB agents make that deck so strong. And the Stormtrooper Patrol as well. But he's really good because he disallows this, and it's a really like out of the box thing to just activate 4 force in the middle of your turn. And then Tarkin allows you to draw up to 6. Not this Tarkin V. So those 2 together work really strong. So again, I'm just going to put out, now I got 3 walkers out. Just hold these sites, keep pinging through. I can withstand, if he's going to drain me for 3, but I'm going to ping for 2, I can live with that because I have a significant advantage in life force right now. I'm at 21, he's at 9 in our hand. He's got a couple more in hand. So I initiate this battle, I'm going to draw 2 Destiny. This is the key, remember I mentioned that I hit Hera with the AT-AT cannon, and because of... no, take that back. Yes, I do. I can fire it from another site. Is that what I did? Yeah, that's cool. This is one thing I always forget about. Weapons that can fire across sites, like tanks have a weapon that do that. Captain Utani, EPP, can do it. So you can make target character at same or adjacent site using 2 force, but because of prepare for a service attack virtual, these are all things that Connor knows, stealthily because he loves Hoth CRV even more than I do. So it fires for free. So I was able to fire for free. I hit Hera, and because it was Blizzard 6, it reduces her power and forfeit by 2. So now, she's only forfeit 4, he's 7, she's hit, she's got to go, and I have a 4 and a 1 left in my reserve. So I'm going to draw 5, which means that he can't just lose Hera and satisfy the 5 attrition. So he's going to lose both characters, which is huge for me. Let me play here. So Hera's hit, power -2, forfeit -2. He's only getting 1 battle destiny, so like worst case scenario, I lose Wolf, who's forfeit 5, even though I tossed away Imperial Arrest Order. I'm not really too afraid of him having 6s floating around, and even if he did, I would just lose Tarkin. He already burned his solo, so he doesn't have anything too wild. He draws Take This, which is a way to pull the proton torpedoes to kind of help combo up, Tarn Myson, a gun, and really wreck a doom stack of Darkside characters aboard a starship. That's what Tarn's role is, to wreck doom stacks. So he loses both characters. I now win the North Ridge. I'm just going to move away. He's going to pop his Walkling to retrieve 1 once per game, put it out of play. And I'm just going to run away, I'm pretty sure, from the 5th marker. He's only going to drain me for 1 there. He doesn't have a battleground site, so he needs to pay to drain with Battle Order, which I pulled a little while ago. And again, so I'm feeling pretty good now, having a 11 force advantage on cards down, and only down 3. So I'm up 8 in total. I'm scheduling, 4 damage if I want to pay 6. He only has 1, 2, 3, 4 if he wants to pay 12 because of Battle Order. So I'm feeling pretty good here. So, and again, this was a, I think at the meta at that time, the EBO was way more popular than it is now. Now it's still a good deck. I like it, but it just has some tough matchups. I almost played it in the OCS playoffs against Drew. Because I think it can be okay against Court. It's not super easy against Court, and he's a big Court player. And the other deck he plays is ISB. I think EBO can beat ISB, and it did really, really well per the data that Adam, give a plug to Adam Fletcher, Echo-based Trooper, for all the great data he has. It was one of the most, I think it was the most lopsided matchup with a decent sample size, EBO beating ISB. I don't think you're ever going to win by a lot, But that's where I was really favoring EBO, because I thought Drew was going to go ISB, and he did, but then because I lost the first game by 14, I didn't think that EBO could win by 15, and that's where I went with Throne Room, just hoping he'd play Court, and he played ISB, and it didn't go well for me. So he's got Luke to retrieve a force. He is kind of handcuffed here in that he doesn't have a battleground site for battle order, so he either can choose to do stuff or pay a lot to drain for not a lot. I guess recurred Hera, I think maybe with Walkling and a rescue, I think was maybe what happened. He retrieves solo with Luke. So now he's going to try to contest me on these sites, get battle order back online for him, and try to prevent me from controlling 2 locations. But Decree is just so big in this matchup, and that's where I think most Hoth series are heavily favored against EBO. Whether you're using this version, obviously, that just blows it away, or the Prepare for Surface Attack non-virtual, which prevents the opponent from canceling your force drains at Hoth locations. So that prevents, it's a hit. Most importantly, it prevents simple tricks and nonsense, which is a shield. It's the coward equivalent for any new returning players. That means that Darkside can just get these drains through for they could drain the 3rd marker if they want. And obviously you may start your landing, just keeps hitting them. And with the proper ground package, Darkside can win ground. So here I activate. This is my turn 7. Feel pretty good. I'm going to ping him for 2. And now that he's more vulnerable in space, I think this is the turn I do go to space. So he's going to have to peel a few cards. I'm pretty sure I don't pay 3 to drain here. I feel ready and safe to go to space. I got 4 Star Destroyers in my hand. Check my reserve to see the Destiny using Prayer for Service Attack. I got a 4/2/4. I'm going to pull a Trample out. And I'm not going to play it now because I got a 50-50 shot of killing Hera or Radis. I think I'm going to wait till after the battle at the system, see where my Destinies are, and then make sure I land the Trample. So yes, I have a fleet of Star Destroyers in my hand. I still have a Blizzard 4. I got 2 good Admirals. I got a Gick in case anything goes crazy. I got a Barrier. I'm in a really good position right now. So I put Tyrant out. Tyrant is pullable. It's 1 less deploy than most Imperial class Star Destroyers at only 7. And I'm going to put Mr. Thrawn to add a Battle Destiny. It's going to be immune less than 4 because of Kuat Drive Yards Virtual. EBO doesn't usually have the best Destiny, but at this point in the game it's usually filtered a little bit. That the ships are on the table ideally, you got interrupts ideally in your reserve. I play Firepower here, make sure he doesn't play Hyperscape and run away, although I do have a Kick combo which would cancel it. This card's since been blanked, and this is why Quiet Mind Colony is decent now. Well, I really like it, but while this thing was around, it kind of killed Quiet Mind Colony because it really made late side pay for running away with Path of Least Resistance. So I battle, he reacts with Spiral. I have 2 options here. I can either barrier it or cancel it with cancel the react with Kick combo, which I do. I want to make sure I don't open myself up to any type of counter beat, even though again I have barrier and Tyrant is going to cover 17 if I needed to. Plus it draws a Destiny on its own because of this card, Kuat Drive Yards. So I draw a 4 and a 2, so now I know that 2 cards down is a 4, so I can trample after I get rid of that, after Krennic moves somehow off the top. So he's going to lose Obi-Wan, and he's got a peel few. Let me speed this up because we're winding down here. We're at 36 minutes. And again, thanks for everyone for watching the last episode, which I was really impressed with how many people found that interesting, and I'll put this one on Facebook as well too, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Like I said again earlier in the stream, I think this is coming to everyone a little sooner rather than later, which is exciting. And hopefully it's it took me a little while. It's going to take everyone a little while to get used to the interface, but it's really neat, and it does some things a little differently, some things a little better the current interface, and it definitely looks a lot better at the very least. So we now go to his turn 7. I have Decree on. I have Battle Order. This is now pretty much what do you call it? Academic is the term. So I might speed up a little bit here. I know at one point one of the key things that I noticed was I was like, oh, I'm at the 3rd mark. I said earlier, sorry to repeat myself, but oh, he doesn't have Battle Plan satisfied, but he was at a 3rd marker, and I'm thinking in my head, because we're so programmed that the shield is up, and he did have it because I was like, oh, he can't even pay to drain now. But he actually was able to because he did have a battleground site. So I eventually win this. I'm not sure what I did this last month. I think I definitely trimmed it up during the course of the year. I think I finished a lot of those later months, like 8-4. I think I had it maybe 1-9. This actually might be a 9-3 month, to be honest. Like, this was the first time I went 9-3. So he's going to move some guys around, deploy some. Did he deploy anybody else? No, just School Leader came out for free, basically, because Haven subtracts 2. Oh, no. VBO gone again. He doesn't get that deploy -1. So I play Dark Time just to cycle it. I guess I let him get away with it. I held on to the trample until you need it. And again, this is kind of that whole control beatdown aspect too of, maybe I hold it. Maybe I don't be too aggressive. Maybe I catch him without a force to grab it, and then I can cycle it. But I'm just going to trample it here. I think I activate the 1, which was Krennic. I trample Hera. Now I can... Oh, no, Vader's not there. I was going to say Vader would cancel pose text, and then I would not have too much to work with. But we're at 2x speed here. I'm going to continue activating. I'm now going to ping him for 3 with You May Start Your Landing because I have 3 walkers out. And he only has 8 force face down. Let me even go 3x because there's nothing really too exciting that happens towards the end here. Go 3x. And again, great aspect of the new system that you have the scrub bar down here in the bottom right that you can bounce around. So if you go past something, you can always go back. Yeah, Studley, this is Imperial troops have entered the base, pretty much. We even got Enforcer Vader here, which is such a great picture. This breach defense is another reason, if you're a new returning player, virtual cards are great because this guy is one of the most powerful cards in the game. Darth Vader, Emperor's Enforcer, and he is on top of a Hoth uncommon. He's in a ton of decks, but between Gemp and virtual cards, people have access to cards that 20 years ago, back in the Decipher era, it was a lot harder to piece together really good cards to build really good decks, and now that obstacle or that barrier to entry is way lower. So I'm going to put down Avenger here, build up more of the Death Squadron fleet. He's not going to get Spiral, but I'm going to Barrier, which I had from last time. So Spiral's going to get excluded. He has Luke and Bright Hope, and I think so this is 3x. The way this ends up, he doesn't take any overflow, because I think he draws decently. But yeah, there's just no replacement for Big Blue. You get these big Star Destroyers out, big power, big forfeit. The problem is, you're running in something that has like 3 Battle Destiny, you can take out 2 of them. Or Light Side can take out 2 of them, but that's why Imperial Command exists, or Imperial Justice exists, which is in this deck. Imperial Justice V. And he loses Luke, he's got 8 battle damage, or maybe he does take 3 overflow here. Bright Hope goes, yeah, so he's going to peel a few. Red 8. That's the second time he lost Red 8. I'm pretty sure he top decked it. Back when I blew up the main power generators. And then I move Vader just to make sure I'm able to cancel post text and not have any issues there. And this is going to wind down. He's got 5 force left. Yeah, this is definitely the point where I'm like, why doesn't he concede? He doesn't have a battleground site. He can't even get these drains through. But this is very much still a battleground, or is a battleground site now, I should say. So, yeah. So this is going to be the end. So I'll just wrap this up. Thanks for everyone for joining. I was able to just do a quick stream here, and I'll have this post on the YouTube page, and hopefully you guys enjoy this thematic episode. I think I'll wind it down here. I think he's just about to concede. But, yeah, thanks for joining. Hopefully I'll get some more of these up, as time permits, kind of on a haphazard schedule as things allow. But, I think it's gone pretty well, and I think it's kind of serving 3 different purposes, which is neat. So again, thanks for tuning in. Make sure you tune in to Holo Theater tonight, and everyone take it easy. All right, take care.